Gotta watch the system operate, all that good stuff. So as I think you've seen already, right? You've already now hit all the other stations, right?
Yeah.
So you saw the parts being made. You saw hopefully some reaction in progress. You saw the part on the table. So now just take that thing off the table, mount it to pretty simple. Your mounting system here. Yeah, feel free to come in. It did just stop running, but it's not that long, so it's okay. Yeah. Yep. So you can feel free to touch everything. High voltage is off right now, so it's safe. So what we have going on here is this is our rig we use mostly for validating all of our performance models, all of our system models, all that good stuff. So, engine hanging on this test stand, it's riding on airbags. So you can see this is like a very flexible system, so that we can get things like a free vibration, if you guys ever had to deal with that before. And then helping us design our damping system for the field. And then you'll see a lot of instrumentation, thermocouples, pressure sensors, all kinds of sensors. We have about 200 pieces of instrumentation. And you can see all stringing through the trays on the back row here that we use to collect data and validate our system. Couple key things to point out from what's in the system in a production scenario. So you pretty much have the engine. You don't have any of the data instrumentation. On the far left-hand side, I'll show it to you. This is the water pump, so it's a closed-loop water cooling system. So there's a lot of what looks like stuff here. That's so we can modulate different pieces of it at different times, really tune it in, right? So you have a water pump that runs off of high voltage as well. So anything that's an orange cable is a native 800 volt DC system. So we run it everything all the way from our battery for startup to the engine to the pumps and fans. It's all 800 volt native. So go for it.
For the water circulation
Yeah.
and cooling, if this was a CEU or a container, would you envision the radiator cooling system outside, or would it be?
So what we do, in our the box configuration is basically the length of this engine, and then it's about this height that I kind of hold my hand here. What's above it is we have the water system actually fully embedded in there. So we pull air in from the sides and we exhaust it out the top. We do that so it's not noisy, and nobody likes to be blown in the face with warm air and things like that. Now, if you were to go deploy, let's say, a couple megawatts of system, as an example, it would probably no longer make sense to have individual cooling for each one, in which case it would be just as easy to run a central cooling system for the whole thing. Or like what we do in this building is, you probably haven't seen it, but there's a water loop that goes through the whole building. Heat pumps spread out throughout the whole building. We put that warm water into the building circulation loop, and we use that for heating the space, hot water, and all that good stuff. Cogeneration, so you can get about 95% total efficiency. We just use a radiator with ambient cooling, not subcooling or anything like that. Yeah, is that what you're asking? Yeah, no subcooling. Closed circuit. Closed circuit. Yep, closed circuit. You got to think about when we first started developing this 200 kilowatt system for use in a Class A truck. So that's a closed loop system, DC, all that good stuff, right? The other piece of equipment that we have is over here. I'll just speak about it this time. So you've got a blower, so an air blower. So unlike an internal combustion engine, because our pumping mechanism is totally sealed and isolated, we can't pump in air from the outside world because we're not connected to the outside world. So what we do is we have essentially it's like a compressor wheel on a turbocharger hooked up to a high-speed motor. We provide that input air for the reaction. So if you already saw the reaction upstairs, you saw what did happen to that. So those two components, and then a radiator and a fan, is pretty much the makeup, other than low voltage control, control systems, safety systems. We do have a high voltage battery on board for cold start, but also in case of needing surge. So let's say your facility needs more than 200 kilowatts, or maybe has some excess that we need to store. We can do that with the battery.
Does the battery heat the chamber if it starts
Yeah, not really. Well, the best thing to do the heating is actually just ignite the fuel. We use it mostly to initiate. So all these pieces are electric driven, right? So the pumps. So we want to get those pumps up and running. But also, let's imagine that you're an EV charger scenario. You may only run this system at full power for 50% duty cycle or something like that. You may have parasitic loads at your site, as well as we have parasitic loads because we have a 5G connection. We're constantly streaming data back and forth, and you control this through the web. So we need power. So what we do is we run off the high voltage battery, and then that gives you many days, say, of just sitting there idle or doing nothing. And then eventually, if the system needs, it can start up and recharge itself, right? And then shut back down. But that high voltage battery gives you a lot of cool capability for all kinds of things. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Did you say already, this is a 200 kilowatt system?
So this is our outlet. So this is a 125 kilowatt system. It's the same exact size, physical layout, everything is 200 kilowatt. You won't be able to notice the difference looking at it. This one is actually 125. Sorry, you have a question?
Good question.
Yeah.
Any like of that, or do you like think what kind of that you
We just go through like a regular filter to get like large debris out of it. Yeah. So you want to see the filter? I'll show it to you. It's right here.